Hey guys, what's up? Mike here, Laker Talk. So our boy Luke Walton is coming home. A few hours ago, Luke Walton was announced as the new Lakers head coach, which is very exciting. I had just finished coaching my son's little league team. My phone was in the bag, and basically I was unplugged for a few hours. Picked up the phone. I saw a bunch of tweets. One tweet was like saying, "Mike," several tweets was like saying, "Mike, you called it," and I kind of knew exactly what happened. So I looked through, saw that it was announced, and it was funny. A lot of people were saying that I called it because I put out a vlog that I felt Luke Walton was gonna be the head coach. And I always tell people I'm not a reporter, so I'm just a vlogger. So I can say things. I'm a biased blogger, obviously, but just a regular fan like everybody else. So I can say dumb stuff. I try to say things with a little common sense, and it just so happened that it worked out. I felt, you know, it was going to happen because he was our first choice, and we had a chance to talk to him, and I felt it was going to we were going to lock him up, and we did. And I think it's the right decision, because when you look at the coaches that are around, the Brian Shaws of the world, the Derek Fishers, the Kevin Ali's, the Mark Jacksons, just whoever's left. When you scratch off Kevin Ali because he wanted some personnel things, and he has a good thing going at UConn, it's really hard to bring him out. When you don't hear too much about Mark Jackson because maybe it was something to do with how he burned bridges in Golden State Warrior. You don't hear too much about Jeff Van Gundy. I actually had the nerve to argue with people for about an hour about Ettore Messina because everyone was talking about Ettore Messina will be the next Laker coach. I'm like, why are we talking about Ettore Messina? There's like 5 coaches we would hire before we got to that guys. Anyway, maybe we bring him on as an assistant. I don't know. But the point is, Luke Walton, based on the coaches and the level of like popularity and the hot coaches, young commodity, good basketball IQ minds that are out there, obviously Luke Walton is a top choice. You can't go wrong with him. The way I see it is, the coach that we bring in, we're not expecting that coach to take us to the championship. We're not even expecting the playoffs next year. We're just expecting to be a little bit better. Someone to come in to actually work with the young guys and not necessarily teach them to play basketball because they know how to play basketball. It's just a coach that will kind of like get out of their way, so to speak. All right. Whereas Byron Scott was the opposite. He was like getting in their way, where you can only see like a Luke Walton coming in and actually letting the entire team play as they are capable of playing. Okay, so that's like what we expect from Luke Walton. And you can't go wrong with a Luke Walton type of pick because, yeah, over 2 years, you can figure it out. You can see how he develops the team, right? You can't get any worse than what we were, right? And so Luke Walton, we know what he can do with the veteran squad. We saw him doing that at Golden State. Now it's about Luke Walton being young enough and not stubborn in his old ways to actually try to instill a system that our guys don't fit with. You can expect Luke Walton to bring in a system, obviously, that he's going to build around the personnel that we have. And so, great choice. Really happy about it. I think this is a great choice by Mitch Kupchak. I'm happy. A lot of Laker fans are happy. And I think from this point on, we just cross our fingers and hopefully we keep our top 3 pick, and hopefully we get a number 2 pick, number 1 or number 2 pick. And then from there, we go in free agency and we let Mitch do what he does. Maybe he's going to do some good things and make some good trades, or, obviously go after some top free agents. And we're sitting pretty right now. The Lakers, like when you think of free agency, like the cap money that we have, You bring in a hot coach like Luke Walton, who potentially could win another chip this year with Golden State, and you think about what we have in with D'Angelo and Julius Randle and Clarkson. We really have a good young core, and I think with Luke Walton in a suit in a pitch room does look decent, and I think we'll land some top free agents. Hopefully Kevin Durant. That's a long shot, but maybe. But other than that, like I said, even if there's nothing Luke Walton can do. What I do think was going to happen, obviously, he now has to, after the season's over with, his Golden State Warriors season is, he has to look at bringing in some top coaches, especially maybe a defensive mind coach, because that's something that we lacked last year. And, Luke Walton being a good basketball mind in terms of offensively and knowing schemes and things like that. You bring in a good defensive coach. Someone talked about Brian Shaw. I think Brian Shaw would be great to have on the bench. But also bringing somebody with a good defensive mind, good defensive schemes, and help him build around that. And then also people talked about maybe he should coach the Summer League. Yeah, I think he should coach Summer League because Steve Kerr coached the Golden State Warriors Summer League as well, just to kind of get familiar with, some things. And I think it'd be great for Luke Walton to coach our Summer League, coach D'Angelo and, some guys that way. And even, it'd be awesome to have like a Brandon Ingram on the squad in the Summer League. That'd be great. So, I don't know. Good times right now for the Lakers. It's a good time because it's our rebuild mode. We're not middle tier like the Clippers, like the Houston Rockets and whatnot. We're actually at the bottom. There's nowhere to go but up from here. And I think there's some good things to come. Obviously, next step is the draft, then free agency, and then we go from there and we're rocking. All right. So hit me up in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. You like the fact that we landed Luke, and let me know your comments below. Thanks for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and always follow me on Twitter, Mike Sports LA. More stuff to come as more of this stuff rolls out and we get closer to the draft. We'll talk soon. Peace.